Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Doctor. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest. It is the 4th of July, and fireworks are going off everywhere, and my neighbors are going absolutely bonkers. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, and without further ado, I know many of you have been waiting for this video. Let's talk about Lady Glaciela. Now, particularly with Viktora coming out, there's been a lot of comparisons to Glaciela. A lot of people are wondering, is Glaciela going to be worth it? Is she better than Viktora? So don't worry, we do a comparison towards the end of the video, and we do kind of see what role each of them fulfills, and you should probably have a feeling for that by the end of this, but let's dive in here. Glaciela does come out on the Laswell banner in JP. It is quite a bit of ways away. She has slashing resistance 25%, piercing 10% resistance. She is a little bit weak to missile and magic by 15% and 10%. Probably one of her more glaring weaknesses is that she's 10% weak to lightning. There's so many lightning element units. Sid out there is just going to destroy her. Something to keep in mind, she has 20% resistance to fire, so she's going to be a little bit advantageous against Rain and Delita in the JP meta. She does have 50% resistance to sleep, and she has a 50% resistance to stop, which will actually be pretty good if you consider the amount of ketones that are stopping. Kind of a pain in the ass when ketone limit breaks you. She is the Sword of Rebellion Glaciela of Wazette. She's a UR, and her main job is Valkyrie, second job Monk, and third job Ninja. Her primary stats are going to be 2500 HP, Agility 56, Attack 282, and no enhancement to movement or jump. So it's going to be movement 3, jump 1. Her mastery ability does give her an additional 20%, and she gets an additional slash attack resistance plus 10. Her ability board gives her HP plus 80, attack plus 52, so if you're keeping track right now, that's going to be about 330 attack. She gets an additional attack plus 20% from her ability board, so that's about 330 attack with slash attack, or with attack plus 40%. So her attack value, very similar to Viktora, is going to be extremely high. She does only get agility plus 2, but that's not going to be much of a factor because of the passive she has access to. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And her luck is 64. She's not going to be an evasion unit. With the amount of HP that she has, but she's not a tank, really how you're going to want to think about Glaciela is sort of a brawler, very similar to Orlando, except she's probably better than Orlando at taking damage and really getting in there and fighting with the tanks. Her TMR, White Wolf Armor, is going to have HP 424, Defense 9, Spirit 4, and Accuracy 8. Breath of the Valkyrie, very powerful, restores its own AP 10 to 20 and raises its own slash attack resistance 15% for 3 turns. So a very powerful ability on that White Wolf Armor. Whenever you see restores AP in addition to generating a TP cost, very powerful, and I think a lot of people will be utilizing this TMR. We are going to go ahead and show off her limit break here. For those of you that don't know Key, he is a JP War of the Visions content producer, and he has given me permission to show off all of his limit break videos of all the JP units that he takes. This is going to be Viktora's Limit Break Valkyrie dive. It is going to be piercing and water, and it's going to raise her own max damage cap, deal damage large to target, and piercing. If it's chain of 5 or more, it's going to raise the chain bonus effect, but it's going to end the chain. And then its max effect will be raises max damage cap by 5,000. Pretty good, I would say. Taking a look at her in comparison to Viktora right now, I kind of talked how she's going to be this brawler type character. So you'll see here that the HP is significantly higher than Viktora's, and what we're going to look at down here is that her resistances are much more capable of going in and fighting enemy tanks, or, you know, specifically with the slash resistance, we're going to think of Warrior of Light. She can get in there, she doesn't have to worry about getting killed, she can take a couple hits, she can deal severe damage to tanks. She does have an ability that adds 50% defense penetration, so it really makes her a tank buster, brawling type of character. Whereas Viktora, on the other hand, is going to have really high innate agility here at 62. She'll have a decent amount of HP, but not as much. And she's going to have attack, no slashing resistance, but missile resistance. So Viktora's job is kind of like high movement and really meant to eliminate back of the line threats with that movement 3 and jump +4. So if I had to argue who was a better character, I feel like they both serve different roles. There was a discussion going on in my Twitch chat the other day that was wondering, you know, why would we want Glaciela if Viktora is so much better? And I actually don't think Viktora is immensely better. I think they just have different roles. Yes, you know, Glaciela doesn't have access to jumps, and she doesn't have access to higher move and high jump, but she's designed to take a hit. Viktora, you know, she can take a hit. She doesn't have huge weaknesses except for magic. And I really think she's designed to get into that back line, especially in the current arena map. You always are running into people who their Viktoras are just running across. I know mine personally is. Jumping on the mages or the gunners and killing them. That's what I see Viktora's role as, whereas Glaciela is going to slowly and methodically move down, push her way into the enemy's tanks, and with that defense penetration, push through them and kill them. Taking a look at equipment, everyone, there's a couple of things you have to consider here. So, Wind Spear +5, or Drake's Horn Spear +5, or Ice Lance +5 are all viable options. And honestly, I think actually the best option is going to be the Wind Spear +5 Assault, or the Drake's Horn Spear +5. If you are going for a critical hit build, you would of course go for the Drake's Horn Spear +5 critical build, because it has substantially more critical hit than any of the other critical hit build lances. So if you are going critical hit, you have to have a Drake's Horn Spear. Otherwise, you should be going Assault for the increased attack. And I would say the Drake's Horn Spear critical is not entirely necessary. However, you could build her towards a 100% critical hit rate build. She does get access to a couple abilities, so she gets a 100% hit strike with a critical hit rate modifier on it. So it's going to be very similar to Launch, except it's with spears, and it's going to have that critical hit rate mod. It doesn't say what the critical hit rate mod is, but it does increase her critical chance. So because she doesn't have any passives that increase her critical chance, she has 1 + 14 critical hit rate on her ability board. You're really going to have to decide, yes, I'm going to push her for a critical build, or no, I'm not going to push her for a critical build. If you decide to go Assault, another option, or even if you go critical, another option, is you can sub Ninja, because she does get access to Decider of Fate. So if you don't have the capability to build her as a critical build, going for an assault weapon and going with Decider of Fate could be very powerful for her, because she has a lot of high range AoE techniques and also a couple short range destructive techniques. So it really depends on how you view her role. I think the Decider of Fate or going for high crit will help her in her job of killing tanks, and that's really what I see her role as going to be. Taking a look at her abilities here, Battle Maiden's Eyes is going to be the most important one. Pierce attack +25, and then an additional defense penetration +50%. We talked about this, killing tanks, very important. She's going to be that brawler who's up, fighting against the slash attack units, and killing them. In her passive kit as well, she does get Javelin Crow, which is going to basically be a shuriken. She gets Triple Piercer, which is going to be a 3-strike attack, which is wonderful. Soiree Burst is going to be the inevitable attack that we talked about with critical hit modification onto it. It also is a 3-range attack. And then finally, Leap Strike, which is her most powerful attack, is going to move to the target square and deal damage to the target within range centered on yourself. So that's a 3-square AoE cross attack that she can use. I think that's going to be incredible. If you could imagine subbing Ninja and using Decider of Fate with that, along with a defense penetration, you could kill multiple enemies in one go around. For her passive Valkyrie, I don't see it being used very often. It is going to deals damage to the target within its own range medium. Paralyzed Cross, I don't see us using this either. It's a low probability, and the squares on it are really weird. She does have access to Monk Sub, and I did not list all of the abilities here. What you need to know is important is she does have access to store, which gives her attack plus 150%. So she could do store as a passive and then lead into one of her other attacks. I think people underestimate the effectiveness of store, so I do think her monk sub ability could be pretty good here. And then of course ninja passive with Decider of Fate here, or ninja sub. So greatly increase your own hit rate for 1 turn and always generate a critical hit. Absolutely incredible. This, if you guys didn't know, actually saved me in tower. I had Medina sub ninja and used Decider of Fate into flare on the evasion enemies. It was one of the best ways for me to deal with Venera and those thieves right at the beginning, and I am an avid Decider of Fate fan. Looking at her passives, she gets access to the secret of Crash, which is going to be puncture, attack, and quickness up. You're almost always going to set this. Now, remember when we were talking about her agility earlier, I said that her having such low agility was not going to be an issue. That's because she gets access to this, and she also gets access to the ninja passive for agility plus 12 and luck plus 12. So agility for her is going to be easily accessible, easily boostable, and you're going to be setting these, right? You're not going to be setting fist attack up, you're not going to be setting HP up, and you could be setting Shikuchi, but honestly, if you had the choice with agility, it's not her job to get right in the enemy's face, it's her job to let the enemy come to her while she's buffing in order to take out the tanks. I think she has the best counter here as well when we're talking about her being a brawler character. It's called Counter Sting, and when it counterattacks, it gives the enemy attack down for 3 turns when damaged by physical attack. So I think that's incredible. You're not going to be sitting Fist Counter or Poison Needle. Those counter abilities, just toss them out the window. You don't need them. But Counter Sting, incredibly powerful, and I cannot wait to actually use this in the future. So, should you be pulling for Glaciela when she comes out for Global? Should you be hoarding for her? I know there's a lot of people who Glaciela is their waifu, and they just can't wait for her to come out. And personally, I am falling in love with these spear-using women, and I think Glaciela is going to run alongside my Viktora very nicely. So the pros and cons, she has defense pierce 50%, a guaranteed hit attack, a 3-hit combo, Decider of Fate, she counters with attack down, high agility up, high HP up, high slashing resistance, high attack, 2 plus 20% attack passives. The cons for her are going to be low movement, proper weapon is going to be essential as well, which we kind of talked about. Monk sub, you don't really get much of it except for store. Missile and magic weakness, and she has low jump and low movement. So overall, I want to say she's very good at being an anti-tank brawler, and she's just going to take on all of those slash attack units, except maybe Orlando. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you guys did like this content, please do hit that subscribe button. And of course, come check out our Discord. Drop a comment in the YouTube section down below. We're always loving to talk to people. Come check me out on stream. I will be streaming tonight, and I do stream every night except for Monday and Thursday. If you want my stream schedule, just leave announcements on in the Discord, and I do announce when I go live every evening. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great rest of your week.